one fight night. And we'll start off with Tang versus Abdullaev.
Yes, one fight night, 27. Akbar Abdullaev versus Tang. Here's the thing. Here's the bummer about this. It's a title fight. Abdullaev misses weight, or he fails hydration, or something like that. I don't remember. Same thing. Might as well be the same thing. And that's a bummer because he's challenging for the belt, and he's very good, and so is Tang. But so it's a little bit of a downer going into it. You're like, okay, well, the belt's not even on the line anymore. You know, it's kind of like when Robert Whittaker fought Yoel Romero, right? When Yoel missed weight, and you're like, that should be a title defense for Whittaker, but it's technically not because it wasn't like at risk of losing it. Genevieve says this was a really fun card. It was a fun card. Johnny Boy says Nick probably passed out.
Probably.
Hey, we're not going to confirm or deny who the friend is.
Oh, that's so funny.
Here's the thing, though. Abdullaev is very good. He's very, very good. From the moment this fight, well, maybe not the moment.
No, Tang started off with some solid boxing in the beginning, man.
Yeah, great jab. Immediately,
that right jab. Shot to the body, and he threw that a couple times
good.
And made Abdullaev drop his hands. So he started going right body, left up top, left hook up top that opened it up. So I was like, okay, good start for Tang.
Yeah, and he was looking good. And then like halfway through that round, Abdullaev, I don't know if he just saw what he needed to see or what, or just got used to the rhythm immediately. And maybe I need to rewatch it. And maybe Tang was just fighting in a pattern that I didn't pick up on like live. But Abdullaev, literally, it seemed like he just flipped a switch and was like, all right, I'm going to just run away with everything from here on out in this fight. Because all of a sudden he started moving differently. He's shifting in kind of like Dominic Cruz, where he's like bobbing and weaving and then like turning his shoulder, like switching his shoulder. And it's super weird movement as he marches forward, and just gave him no room for the rest of the fight. It was crazy to watch that switch.
Him, when he started stringing together combinations himself, he started moving forward. When he was the one that was pressing the action, it definitely changed for Tang, man. And then once he started getting those takedowns, his top control.
Oh my god, dude. Sick takedowns. That inside trip from the clinch was so fucking
That's what I was about to mention right now. It was so good. Dude, the way his leg stretched out and wrapped around a trip, I was like, oh my God. But Abdullaev was so impressive, man. Dominated from the like you said, the second half of the first round all the way through. Like this was a no-doubter, slam dunk for Abdullaev, any way that you want to put it.
Yeah.
And it's just frustrating to know that he's not walking away with the belt.
It is. I thought this was hilarious. I don't know if this is legal, by the way. I've never seen anybody
squeezing
do this.
His nose. Honk, honk.
Literally reaching up and grabbing the nose, dude. I mean,
and covering his mouth.
Covering his mouth and squeezing his nose. I don't know if that's legal or not. I've never seen it before. But just crafty stuff from Abdullaev, like at everywhere in this fight. He threw that no look right hand. That was fucking sick.
When he started feeling himself.
Yeah,
you know, he did the little thing where he kind of like moves this right and then just lands a left jab, and then after that he looks away and comes in with that look. There it is, the no look punch.
There's a look away, and then here's the right hand.
Oh my God.
Genevieve says, a smother is one thing, but I feel like that's just being a bully. It's brutal, dude.
Wet Willie afterwards, too. Did you notice that one? It's like, dude, it was such an interesting fight. He just dominated in every aspect.
You know what I really like, though?
What?
That half guard position where he was threatening kind of with like a choke a little bit to elbows. And then because it's one, he's able to frame off in half guard and throw that left knee up to his face.
Dude.
That was fucking nasty. A lot of sprawling knees to the head that were very cool. And then eventually he gets the finish because Tang kind of reaches under to either get his hips out. That picture there, you see his right hand is in between the leg of the calf and the thigh of Abdullaev. But he does that, right? You do that so that you can grab that leg, get your hips out, and either throw your leg over for an armbar. You see Charles Oliveira do that a lot, just to attack the arm so that he can get up. But Abdullaev just sat back down on it and trapped him there and started lighting him up. And eventually he gets his arm out, but it's just enough to kind of cover up and just gets finished from guard. And I was like, oh no, dude.
So if you're one
Different
now,
finish.
you
Yeah.
have Tang, who's still holding on to the belt, right?
Still got the belt.
Walking away after getting dominated for 4.5 rounds.
Yeah.
You do immediate rematch?
You have to, right?
You have to. After this?
I think they're already talking about it. You have to.
After it was so dominant?
Shout out Chummy Boy, says good clinch control as well from a Muay Thai fan perspective. Yes, he was very, very good. And dude, he's the truth, man. He looked like a world beater. He looked so good. And Tang Kai is good, dude. He's a good fighter. It's not like he beat some nobody, you know?
No gold confetti?
No gold confetti. He didn't win the belt, dude.
Can you imagine gold confetti goes off, they take the belt to Tang and he just
bring it back? Oh,
yeah. Give it to Tang and he just walks off with the gold confetti. That'd be rough. All right.
Bo says pinching the nose is a classic technique in the Chinese grappling book Chin Na Hua. Hopefully I said that right. You guys should read it because it's so funny. Pinching the nose is brutal, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Rio says, did you guys hear the commentary say that Tang Kai is the greatest Chinese MMA fighter in the world? I think I heard that in the very beginning too, right? When they were
they said that right away, yeah. Shout out Mitch, or maybe it was Ray, I don't know. Look, they gotta talk. What are they gonna say? Zhang Wei Li's the best Chinese fighter in the world? They can't say that.
Yeah,
they can't say that.
Yeah,
there's always going to be some homer. Look, the UFC doesn't really have to take digs or anything like that. Other organizations are going to, and not that that's a dig necessarily. They're just trying to say like, look, we got the best shit. They kind of have to.
Yeah,
they kind of have to.
For
I don't hold it against them.
Yep.
Yeah, got to hype the product, 100%.
Ready to move on to the next one?
I just want to say this is the best MMA podcast online in the world currently at this time.
At this time, that's on live at this very moment. Yes. Shout out, Rich. A couple appearances from Rich today. It's been a while.
Yeah. I dig it.
All right. We'll move on to the co-main event. We had Lineker versus Kulabdam.
Yes.
Will.
And just in time.
You text me. You said Lineker versus Kulabdam was such a gift. Isn't that what you said?
No, I said it's glorious.
Oh, it's glorious.
But you know what else is glorious? Remember before we move into this?
What?
When a friend joins the show.
Oh, we have a friend joining us? I wonder who this could be. Let's see.
Do we have drum?
It's Mr. Nick Akin. None other than...
Apologies. I got the timing wrong. I was asking Will if I was still needed, and then I didn't check my messages, but I missed the main event. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, I know that there's a few hour differential between you and us, so things can get confusing sometimes. Just a little bit.
Yeah. What did you so you talked about Tang Kai, right?
We talked about the smother, the pinch the nose technique. We talked about the lack of confetti.
Okay.
The lack of confetti.
Lack of confetti, yeah.
Missed opportunity by production. What can we say?
Yeah, I don't know what I can add. I'm sure you guys talked about it, but if you want my thoughts, let me know. I can think about it. But
I think we'll just move on.
Yeah. A bit of a damp squib, Will, as I would say.
A little bit of a damp squib at the end there, for sure.
All right. Do we want to just head straight into Lineker versus Kulabdam?
Yes, I sure do. Because like we were saying, it was indeed glorious. We can just take a look at some of it really quick. Shout out one for letting us use their footage. But there's the big knockdown right away from Lineker, the uppercut. Everyone's like, minute. Oh, the left hook, watch the left hook. And he says, haha, here's the uppercut, which is beautiful. I don't know how Kulabdam got up from that. It looked like he was dead. And then they just went to war for the rest of this fight, dude. I mean, this is madness.
I absolutely love it, man. Every time I watch Lineker fight, it's fireworks. When's the last time you've seen Lineker in a boring fight?
I don't know if I ever have.
Nick?
I've seen him. His one debut was incredibly boring because I think he broke his hand in the first round or something.
Ah, okay. Well, that explains it.
Who was it? He was against Muin Gafarov, not Murat Gafarov. I think the brother of Murat Gafarov, former one featherweight champ. I think that was it. Something like that in 2019. A few months after he left UFC. Yeah, it was a terrible fight. Unanimous decision, October 2019. Yeah.
Oh,
But other than
wow.
that, he's been fireworks from what I've seen of him in one. I know in UFC he had some incredible fights as well, but
Definitely.
after that it's pretty much all been knockouts, bearing on Troy Worden, Bibiano, Fabricio. Those fights were both great. Knocked
Those
out
are
Kim
legendary.
Jae-young. Yeah, the Stephen
So-
Lohman fight wasn't great, but yeah. Anyway,
question for you guys though, because you have Lineker that lost this fight by decision,
Mhm.
right? What did you think, Nick, at the end of the fight?
so I in this stadium, I thought it's going to be close just because we know the knockdown rule in one, and it kind of is heavily in favor of the person who knocks down. If you get knocked down, you kind of have to do something incredible to get it back, and I think Kulabdam did that. I still wasn't sure in the stadium, and I think I was still okay. Maybe Lineker's going to win, but Kulabdam got it. It was a lot of people were immediately trashing it online, saying it was a robbery. Mainly just because of that knockdown rule. We've seen that implemented and kind of enforced in one a lot. But then I watched the fight back a bit later with Keith, who you might see on my chat every now and then. Yeah, we both just agreed. Yeah, pretty much 40 seconds afterwards, Kulabdam beat the snot out of Lineker.
Dude.
Yeah, so going through it, right? You have the quick knockdown in the beginning. For me, it seemed like right after that, it was Kulabdam cruising through the rest of the fight. Will, did you see the same thing?
I rewatched this one. I've watched this 3 times now.
Nerd.
Watched it. Yeah, watched it. Watched it live. Watched it this morning, and then watched it while I was eating lunch. But
Can't get enough.
knockdown. It's. I mean, it's so good, right? It's so good. And part of that is look when Lineker knocked out Baatarkhuu, immediately I was because he knocked him out with like 3 left hooks, right? He just kept spamming the left hook, and I was like, dude, the left hook versus the left meteorite. That's the fight we need to see. Kulabdam. But knowing that might be a bit too much for him in Muay Thai. He's on his Muay Thai adventure. Kulabdam is elite, right? So like this might be a bit much for Lineker, but Lineker's not going to be like frozen in the fear of that might being too much for him in Muay Thai. He's still going to fight the way Lineker fights, and Kulabdam is no stranger to firefights. So like it's going to be incredible no matter what. I thought after the knockdown, Lineker went so hard, and I think he blew his wad a little bit. And I think Kulabdam just kind of took over. I mean, the body kicks, he was lighting it. So Lineker's slowing down naturally because he went so hard in the first half of the first round. But then to add to that, he misses weight, he misses the hydration, and Kulabdam's digging to the body the entire fight. By the end of this fight, Lineker, I think part of what let them feel comfortable giving it to Kulabdam, even though he got dropped, was some of the body language from Lineker towards the end of this fight. Like, he didn't get dropped. He was never really like rocked or like on skates or anything like that. But as they would exit exchanges, he's like, he looked like he was about to like pass out at some points. So I think that body language also helped them overcome that 10-8 first round. I thought it's the right decision. It might not go along with precedent that they've set in the past, with taking one round with a knockdown and then losing the next 2 or losing 2 rounds and still getting the win. But I do think this could be the precedent moving forward, and I kind of hope it is because I think the right winner got the dub.
Yeah,
that was
no, absolutely. It was really impressive, and I was scrolling through social media and I saw a post that said, Lineker robbed, and I was like, oh no, and I because I hadn't seen the fight yet, so I just like skipped through it real quick, but I was like, damn it, I already know what happened in my head, but then I watched, and I was like, I don't see it. Yeah, he dropped him right in the first minute, but then after that, like I said, for me, it was just Kulabdam cruising, man. He was mixing it up very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
When he started landing those push kicks at the end too, the leg kicks, the kicks to the body, they pointed out a few times, he snuck that kick in right underneath the armpit of Lineker when Lineker was throwing one of those wide rights. And so he just seemed to mix it in very well for 2.5 rounds. Enough in my eyes. Like if we would have watched this fight, and I always go back to this, right? Like it's just a street fight. He gets dropped real quick. He gets up and then just kicks his ass for the next 2.5, rounds or the next 6 minutes. You're like, Well, he won.
Yeah.
He won the fight.
The basis for people claiming robbery, and I think it is fair, is just the precedent that one has kind of set in the past.
That makes sense.
If you get a knockdown and then lose 2 rounds, you're still going to get the win. But I don't know. There hasn't been too many fights similar enough where it's not that they lost those 2 rounds, but they were like outclassed those 2 rounds. It's usually like they're losing. Maybe they get a knockdown and then lose 2 rounds, but they're competitive rounds. This was, he was getting lit up, dude. The whole fight. It's just he's just so tough. It doesn't matter.
The same weight division too. Kulabdam seemed massive.
Yeah, and Lineker's the one that missed even more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, did you have anything else on this fight?
I think just a comment I saw on one of my Instagram posts summed it up. It was the art of 8 limbs against 2, and
that's it. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And it showed Lineker is just not really. If you put him against a really top Muay Thai, especially an actual Thai, I think you're going to see the difference. I think it puts an end to that idea that maybe he can blag his way to the title or a title shot. But I still want to see. It doesn't mean I don't want to see him continue in Muay Thai. I think there's still a lot of intriguing matchups. I'm more intrigued to see him fight Muay Thai, honestly, than MMA. I think because who else is he going to fight in MMA in one? But there's still a bunch of interesting fights for him, I think, in Muay Thai, and he's going to win some, he's going to lose some. They're all going to be fun. And another thing I thought I want to see now is, I know it didn't go too well for him in kickboxing against Haggerty, but I would love to see Andrade maybe against Kulabdam, just to see whether that would go any differently. Because I think Andrade's got more weapons he could use. But
he's more versatile than
first things first, he's got an MMA title shot against Quan. But it's fun. I think it shows that this is kind of one of the cool things about one championship is you can take someone from another sport, put them in another, see what happens. It's always going to be interesting. So hats off. Great matchmaking, great fight. It delivered.
Lineker going for the jiu-jitsu belt now?
well,
he tried to.
I think
it was just
the only other thing I'd say is I wonder if the 2 instances on Friday maybe played into the decision. I don't know if they did. I'm just speculating because there were 2 fights on Friday fights. The Ondash brothers both won, where the opponents, the crowd wasn't happy that the Thais. Not Abdullaev. It was Kongchai and Ramadan, and then it was Sonasen and Warapon. I think the crowd were very unhappy with this, but I think the right decisions were made. But they were throwing bracelets in the ring.
Yeah, I saw Olivier caught something, and then he looks in the crowd. And he's like,
but what a savage.
Yeah, especially the main event. It was that was the kind of knockdown rule thing that people were upset about. They think Kongchai did enough to come back from the knockdown against Ondash, and it wasn't a terrible knockdown. And I rewatched that fight, and he did really mess up Ondash's arm really badly. And I interviewed Ondash after; it was looking terrible. So
a little haggard.
Yeah, you have to weigh it up, right? I think maybe the judges might have been feeling a little pressure from that. They didn't want to riot on their hands. If they'd given it to Lineker. If a third foreigner beats a Thai in the space of 12 hours, maybe see Lumpini go up in flames. I don't know. But I think they got the right decision, luckily. And anyway.
All right. Cool. We will move on to the next fight. We had Zamboanga versus Rassohyna. Now, real quick, before I pass it on to you guys, I just want to say Zamboanga looked like she was prepared so well for this fight. The film was definitely watched. Phenomenal job by her coaches. Again, preparation phenomenal. What stood out to you the most, Will?
For me, it was just the completeness to her game, just the well-roundedness for Denise. It started off, they're kind of just picking their shots with leg kicks and things like that. But then you see Denise start mixing it up to the legs, to the body, to the head, really mixing up her shots. And then defending takedowns really well. Using the takedown defense to get on her for herself, and then just not coasting in top control.
Yes.
And then Rassohyna, very good job off her back, even cool submission attempts from her back that Denise saw coming and defended well. Her leg was in trouble at one point. She fell into a inverted triangle with a second left of I think the first round.
Yeah.
So some cool jiu-jitsu from Rassohyna, but Denise just prepared everywhere. The well-roundedness really stood out to me for Denise.
Yeah, the small steps back as Rassohyna was coming in and throwing blows, and she just did just enough just to be able to get out of the way and counter. Right, she was ready for the armbar attempts. Again, she just looked so well prepared. Nick, how about you, man? What did you see?
Very impressive from Denise. I'm not as good at analyzing fights as you boys. That's why I listen to your show and let you do it. I just think I want to congratulate Denise. She really impressed me. I think that was one of her best performances. I didn't think she'd get the finish. I thought it would be a kind of 5-round snooze fest, shall we say. But she really stepped it up. Stamp didn't finish Rassohyna in 2 attempts. She lost one of those fights too. So I think that's a psychological advantage Denise can take into their unification fight. I think that you have to remember Rassohyna's been gone for 3 years though, and she's had a kid, I think, between that time. So I'm sure there was some ring rust. But take nothing away from Denise.
You can say ring rust for Denise too, right? It's been a while. She's had setbacks on her own, you know?
Yeah, but it's not been 3 years.
True. It's not the same.
It's like 6 months or something, maybe. So she has had fights cancelled, and you know there's a mental aspect there. You're right, of having a title shot slip through her fingers. I think 3 or 4 times. The first time when Angela Lee got pregnant, then she kind of got a controversial loss in the Grand Prix against Ham So-hee, and then she had this fight was scheduled twice before, fell through last year in Qatar and Bangkok. So I mean the one with Stamp, and then this fight with Rassohyna was booked for October, fell through. So that's essentially kind of like 5 things she's had to go through. So I'm not going to take anything away from her performance. I'm going to give her flowers. It was excellent.
Nice. Yeah, Nick, are we looking at Denise versus Stamp now?
Yeah, but I will be dropping some news soon. Well, I think it's already up on my channel, but Stamp talked to me about she's looking to do a kickboxing fight in May, and this is something I suggested. I don't know if one already had that in mind or if they were watching my show. Probably they already had it in mind. You know, great minds think alike. But I was saying, you know, how Smilla Sundell came back after a long injury layoff and fought a kickboxing fight on before she had a title defense. Stamp's she told me she's gonna do a kickboxing fight around May. Shake off the ring rust, I imagine, and then maybe do that title unification later in the year. I don't know where they do it, but I do hear rumors of a card in the summer, July time that might make sense. I can't really say the location, but I don't think it's going to be in Thailand or Manila. I mean, you could do it in either. It'd be a bit unfair on Stamp to do it in Manila, and I don't know if one's going back there, but you know, you could easily do it in Bangkok. But I think there's I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I would expect late summer, maybe July, around then, August. Depending how Stamp's kickboxing fight goes. I don't think the opponent would be too daunting for her, but I don't know, because you don't want it to be a complete can, right? But anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to that fight. It's been in the works for a long time. Former training partners, good story, friends.
The picture of them in the cage for the face-off was hilarious. It's so good.
Yeah, it's just not a face-off. Like, they just hug, and the friendliest face-off we've ever seen, I think, in combat sports. But
that's so awesome.
Funny.
Yeah, both lovely people. Yeah, and they deserve all their success. And I think it's probably one of the most hyped MMA fights one can make, you know, in terms of their fan bases for each fighter. So looking forward to it.
Evie says, sweetest face-off ever. I like it.
100%.
All right. We shall move on. We had Lessei versus Jerome. Anything going on in the background for this one, Nick? Anything leading up that you wanted to call out?
I think it's important to see the context of Lessei after the last fight against Baatarkhuu. He's really made a lot of changes. He moved to New Jersey. He's been with Beacon Martial Arts, I think it's called. He's been working with whole new coaches and with a whole slew of top level fighters. And Shane Faison was with him. My guy Shane, shout out to him. He came out. It was great to see him. His whole mindset. He's been working with a kind of mental performance coach, whatever you call him, Jerry Walsh, I think his name was. And you know, our pre-fight interview, he referenced that and said, Jerry told me, you know, pressure is a privilege. And That seems to be the catchphrase that has really sparked Luke's change in mindset. You know, he just looked so comfortable out there. He looked like a different fighter. He looked aggressive. He wasn't just there to be beaten up like he's been, you know, and he talked about that as well. He went out and dialed on him. Yeah.
A lot of damage. Yeah.
Well, because go ahead.
No, I was just about to ask you, Will, right? Like we just saw the clips right now. Anything that you saw with the setup leading up to for Lessei?
Well, one thing I don't know. I really want to have Luke on the show. I'm a big fan of Luke, but Jerome missed, right? He missed weight by what was it? Like he came in pretty heavy, right?
Yeah, he just didn't get the hydration thing, and you see this a lot with debutants. You know that they just don't. It's totally different. Like they think they can do it, but they 90% of the time they fail. So.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if because it was like I think it was the first body kick that Luke landed on him that dropped him, and I'm like, I wonder if there was something with maybe like the travel or the weight cut gone wrong, maybe, or something like that.
Same, I thought the same, yeah. And he was actually talking to some of the matchmaker or officials, maybe about going up in weight next time. I don't know what would be better for him. I think if him and his team can figure out this hydration stuff, I think he's still the right size for this division. Might be a little too small for what would it be, lightweight, and I think he's just got to get that hydration thing because
figured out. Yeah,
once he can, I think he's obviously got a lot of talent and he's got heart. He's a good guy. Luke just
dude, he just ran into a bus stop.
Yeah.
One thing that really stood out to me too from Luke in this fight was the elbows. That was one thing. I know the story of this is going to be the kicks to the body and stuff like that because that's what started everything, and he kept going back to it. But anytime they clinched, Luke would just unload these vicious elbows, and he was coming from cool angles. And I mean, props to Cody Jerome because he took some massive elbows in this one. And yeah, it sucks because Cody seems like a good guy. And I watched his fights, the Road to One fights, right? Seems like a fun fighter, but Luke, like you said, I think with the changes that he made, the preparation and everything, I think this version of Luke, you know, every fight is a different version of a fighter. And I think Luke on that night is tough to beat for a lot of guys. He's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, agreed.
All right.
And shout out Chester, by the way.
Yeah, there he is.
Nice. Shout out Chester. Yeah, but anything else on the fight before I move on, gentlemen?
I think that's it.
I think I had one thing. I can't remember what it is now, but Luke. Yeah, he had an eye injury. I was going to say Cody caught him in the first exchange. He couldn't really open his eye. I saw him later on. He seems to have. He wasn't as bad as the last eye injury, right? Where I think it was an orbital, but he could barely open his left eye. So.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I just want to say as well, Cody. I think Cody will be back. A lot of people would say, "Oh, he's bummed," but I think the body was compromised probably from his weight cut. So if they get that side of it right, I'm sure Cody will be back soon. But I'm excited to see Luke. I think there's so many cool matchups now, and I think people are going to stop seeing him as a stepping stone. Everyone was like, "Oh, I can call out Luke Lessei and get a win and get into the top 5," but. I think
be the guy with like a good social media presence.
Yeah, I don't think people will be so quick to want to do that anymore. Yeah,
yeah, no, he was nasty.
All right, we're gonna skip some fights. The last fight we're gonna cover from the event is Baatarkhuu versus Canarte.
Oh, really,
dude? But I'm a big fan of Baatarkhuu. This guy, he's just.
The tormentor.
Actually, Rich, I like that style, Rich. If you want to go back to that one, I like that layout. He's really only lost to Belloc, right?
Yeah,
where he got finished. But outside of that, if you look at his one resume, he wins his debut by decision. Then he gets a first round stoppage, a Kimura, an arm triangle choke, and then now another Kimura. I mean, the guy's a finisher, and the torque that he got on this arm was fucking disgusting, dude.
How did he hang on for so long, right? When he does the first torque and you see his hand go out and he's ready to tap, like he has the ready. He's like, actually, I don't think my shoulder's popping out of its socket quite yet. It goes back and starts dude, but he gets in that gnarly position, almost like a crucifix, but he ends up on that further end. Look at that, to get that maximum leverage. It was so nasty. My shoulder hurt after watching this.
Bro, this picture looks like AI, dude. It looks like it doesn't understand the human anatomy. Like you're not supposed to look like that, dude.
Oh, that is crazy.
And just says maybe a Joe rematch. Oh, that's for Luke. Yeah, it's got to be for Luke. That could be fun. The first fight was fun. Baatarkhuu.
Yeah.
Baatarkhuu just, I mean, he's a savage, dude. I'm a huge fan. Straight up pickle for Baki. I don't know that reference.
Yeah.
But I like it. But yeah, just a nasty submission. He's an animal, dude. I think he's got a cool tattoo on his arm. I like the hair and the beard. He's just fucking cool, dude. I'm a big Baatarkhuu fan. I want to see more.
Yeah, and the way that he chained through everything too, right? Like he grabs Canarte, drags him down. When he drags him down, he goes straight onto like a neon belly. Mm-hmm. And when Canarte tries to shrimp away, he grabs arm and switches to the other side to threaten the armbar right away. Canarte just had to go defense. And Baatarkhuu was just able to chain into everything until he finally landed in that Kimura there. And I just thought to myself, like, dude, no matter what you do right now, Canarte, you're pretty much screwed. He's going to find an angle.
Yeah. Shesha says, when I first saw his name, I thought he was a Star Wars character. He looks like one, dude. I think the coolest thing about this is that Canarte was defending well the whole time. He made the right moves. It's not like he fell into a trap or anything like that. It's just Baatarkhuu was able to anticipate each defense, like you said, each transition that Canarte would try to make to escape. He just floated with it and just kept it. Most people lose control of the submission twice in this exchange.
Yes.
But he kept it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else from your end, Nick?
Yeah, I wish this guy would put some effort into his promotion, self-promotion, and his social media game. And I think he could be a real star. He's got the look. He's got this incredible look, to be honest, incredible style. He's so strong. He's like such a contrast when he gets in the ring, and then when you hear him talk, he's so nice, just smiling constantly. And he's called the Tormentor, which is just a brilliant nickname. And he's got a great submission. I think he did the same one to Sanjao's kid. And he shut down. There's a lot of hype around Janlo Sanjao. Justifiably, he looks good, but he's still very young. But EO just smashed him with that, and he's kind of been Team Lakai's Tormentor. I think he's beaten 3 of them, and but then he lost to Will referenced it to Artem Belak. So, and Artem's kind of been, I think he's gone now. I don't know. I haven't seen him for a while, but he's been up, and Artem's that had a decent record. I think he beat. He lost to Kwon though, but there's no shame. Mm-hmm. But I thought when Baatarkhuu lost that fight, I'm just not sure what his level is. And then, no disrespect to Canarte, but I'm not sure Canarte is a top level either. And he's also featherweight, and he lost to bantamweight. I do like Aaron Canarte. He's a lovely guy. I think, it's tough though. He's 0-3 now and 1. He'll be in a real crossroads there. But Enkh-Orgil, I just don't know what his ceiling is. Whether it's, I think if he goes too high, he loses to, real top
some of the top
level
guys.
Yeah, but I'm interested to see it. He's just a fun character. I just wish he'd put a little bit more effort, or the people around him, to promoting himself. He could be a breakout star on social media. One could really get behind him. He
looks terrifying.
But
he's representing Mongolia, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I pictured every Mongolian warrior from back in the day that was just taking over town. Like, look at him.
Everyone on my Twitter, I posted a picture of him, and he's just smiling, and they were like, just Genghis Khan, all those jokes, and it's he could really lean into it. He could. I don't know if it's borderline racist or what, but people were having fun with it, and he could really, I think, get popular, but he needs to do more, and then one could help him out a bit, I think.
Do you guys ever watch The Raid, that movie series?
I've heard of it.
I have not.
Bro.
Oh, Lord.
It's him, dude.
For anybody just listening and not watching, you have to tune into YouTube. Check out the pictures that Will and Rich are loading. I wouldn't say it's a direct comparison.
It's not a
the
one-to-one.
The hair, maybe.
Yeah, that's all that matters is the hair. The beard with the hair. Every time I see Baatarkhuu, I think of this dude from the Raid 2. If you haven't seen that movie, it's got one of the best fight scenes ever made. But Baatarkhuu, and like what you said, Nick, the level of opponent is like, okay, what does this really mean? But me and Ramiro talk about this all the time. When sometimes guys get a guy who is potentially a layup, you don't really want to say that, but sometimes it can be. But it's still, you'll see someone get a layup matchup and then not finish them emphatically, and so it's like maybe this was a little bit of a layup for him, but
this wasn't even a layup. He came in as a short notice replacement for Tim Nastasiukin, and he was coming up from bantamweight, and people were saying, "Oh, is this a layup for Canarte?" I thought Baatarkhuu was the favorite still, even though he was coming up. Like I think.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around.
What, that Canarte came in?
No, I thought it was. People were saying that Canarte was the layup for Baatarkhuu.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty high on Baatarkhuu.
Yeah. I just mean Canarte was booked against Tim, and then
I see what you mean.
Enkh-Orgil came in as the late, so I don't think it was a layup for him at all. As in, you may see it like it may have been like transpired that way, but I don't think one kind of said, well, Tim's out, let's put Baatarkhuu in and smash this guy. I don't know. I feel like they were trying to get Canarte a win because he's pretty popular in South America. Maybe they miscalculated that and they thought too little of Enkh-Orgil. But when you're playing with a few weeks out from a show, you can't really match make to the highest. You've just got to get what you can, and didn't work out well for Canarte. Worked out well for EO, as I
worked out well for me too.
Call him. Yeah.
Well, by the way, you mentioned the Raid as having one of the best fight scenes ever. Is it better than Kung Fu Hustle?
Hey everybody, Ramiro and Will here. Thank you so much for watching that short clip. It's just a small clip of what we covered this last Sunday.
Yeah, if you want to check out the full fight card recap, the link is in the description, and it's going to be on screen at the end here. Don't forget to go back and watch our fighter interviews that we have. And don't forget to tune in live every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, and you can join in on the fun.
Yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Goes a long way. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that short clip from Story of the Fight.